Let's get right into it because there's no easy way to say this. At this point, it's become painfully clear that the Jenkins can actually afford a house. They're not broke, they're not helpless. But what they've decided to do is something even more disturbing. They have chosen to stay in a motel and exploit their own circumstances for clout. Yeah, you heard that right. This whole situation, it's all a hustle. A scheme designed to keep the clicks, the views, and the donations rolling in. They aren't in survival mode, they're in strategy mode. Every video, every post, every emotional plea is just another play in a much bigger social media game. And if that feels uncomfortable to hear, good. Because it should, especially when you realize they have crafted a narrative so carefully that it pulls at the heartstrings of good, decent people who just want to help. They have turned the digital spotlight into a full-time income source at the expense of truth, transparency, and their children's well-being. Let's talk about the car. The Jenkins recently got themselves a brand new 2024 Jetta. Brand new. A shiny new car that Drew proudly posted himself cruising in. Like everything was normal. But here's the kicker. This car doesn't even seat all 5 of their children. Let that sink in. They had a minivan, a perfectly good one. It was paid off, reliable, and big enough to fit the whole family. But they sold it. At first, that seemed understandable. They say they were struggling financially, so maybe selling the van helped with expenses. That's fair, right? But then they turned around and bought a car that's not only smaller and less practical, but also more expensive, with monthly payments and higher maintenance costs, and insurance and fuel. And not just that, this car doesn't even accommodate their needs as a family. So the decision wasn't just impartial, it was downright baffling.
I mean, I know y'all were shocked too to learn that Stephanie and Drew Jenkins drive a almost brand new Jetta, right? With the ambiance lighting and the inside and stuff, because that shit really matters. I mean, what in the heck? And then Stephanie posts that video of Deshaun and his sisters are sticking up for him and don't talk about my brother like that and stuff. These people are really out there telling these kids what the internet is saying about them and the family and the situation and making it sound like people are just making fun and bullying this little boy. What in the hell? What kind of brainwashing manipulation is that? Holy cow. You're telling that stuff to your kids? And then they're making a video? Oh hell. I just cannot. And Drew's driving around with his suspended license in that damn Jetta with freaking, that car has to be so expensive. And then the insurance on it. Oh my gosh. And they're living in a hotel room with 7 people, making money off of multiple social media platforms that they are monetized on and living that way. I mean, I shouldn't be surprised anymore. I shouldn't be shocked anymore. I put nothing past these people.
It makes you stop and wonder, what kind of priorities at play here? Why would anyone willingly downsize their transportation when they already have a full house of children and claim they're struggling? Unless, of course, you realize this isn't about survival. It's about optics, about range baiting their way to relevance. Because when people ask why they're still crammed into a single-room motel, the answer becomes painfully obvious. They would rather live this way if it means they get to stay trending. Every questionable financial decision, every video posted from the cramped room, every moment of outrage from viewers is all part of the performance. Let's break it down further. If your credit is supposedly so bad that you can't get approved for a house, then how exactly are you getting approved for a brand new car? We're not talking about a used Corolla from 10 years ago. This is a 2024 Jetta. That's not a small financial commitment. You need either decent credit, a co-signer, or some sort of significant financial backing to secure a deal like that. It's not the kind of car you just walk in and drive off with. Especially not when you claim you're living paycheck to paycheck. This isn't a spontaneous or emotional purchase either. Financing a brand new vehicle involves paperwork, proof of income, a stable payment plan, all the things someone supposedly locked out of housing options due to bad credit shouldn't easily have to access.
Excuse me? You can't pay your rent or take your cat to the vet or buy your kids beds or clothes or shoes or get rid of lice in the home or fleas or, do anything that you should be doing, but you can have a brand new fucking car, which means it's probably $700-800 a month, insurance, probably $300-400 a month. That was your best option for a vehicle? Not to mention that car's not even fucking big enough for them. There is 7 of them. That car seats 5. I am literally mind blown, y'all. This is getting so fucking out of hand. We keep talking about the fact that they continue to put their needs before anybody else's. You know damn well Drew, because they had a van at one point. They took the van back and got this. You know damn well Drew was like, I'm not a minivan type of dude. Absolutely not. We got to get a car. And you know damn well, like when they're taking them to the park and shit like that, that they're having to go, drop off, go back, pick up somebody else. What the actual hell? Not to mention, Drew, that you're driving on a suspended license. And yes, I know, guys, people do it all the time.
So how did they do? How are they paying for it? Are they using someone else's credit? Have they been hiding some income streams? So maybe their credit isn't as bad as they have led people to believe. Maybe, just maybe, Stephanie has been lying about that too. Because once you show that you can get approved for something like a brand new car, that opens up the whole new line of questioning. Suddenly the idea that they've been turned away from every housing opportunity starts to feel flimsy. If they are capable of financing a new car, what else are they capable of that they just don't talk? If anything, this move makes their entire housing narrative look shaky and fabricated at worst. Maybe the real reason they're not in an apartment or house isn't because they are unable to secure one, but because staying in a motel and crying about the struggle gets them more views, more sympathy, more donations. If this new car was attainable with all the added costs of ownership, then why are they still living in conditions they constantly describe as traumatic? It's fair to question if the whole "we can't get housing" narrative is nothing more than a strategic cover for their content-driven lifestyle. Because the moment you start pulling on the thread, that small inconsistency, the whole picture begins to unravel. What seemed like a story of hardship begins to look more like a marketing plan, a narrative designed to sustain engagement, not to seek real solutions. Now think about how much money it takes to keep this circus going. They're shopping at Target regularly, not occasionally, regularly. That means spending on everything from unnecessary household items to clothes and snack foods that most struggling families wouldn't dream of prioritizing. They are renting U-Hauls, and not for moving into a new apartment, but likely to haul around they don't even need. Things they could have sold off to actually make progress towards stable living. Then there's the story. These are not cheap. Monthly fees for keeping things in storage instead of downsizing or selling unused items shows a complete mismanagement of priority.
You're telling me y'all are brushing your teeth in the same sink y'all are washing y'all's dishes in. The ring light being set up is crazy. And then they have so much stuff under the sink, a microwave, a deep fryer, a hot plate, and like this electric plug is literally like hanging off. And I understand like she has to keep it clean, but they're like cleaning like this is their job. And this blue rag is tired. I swear she just used that rag to clean the floor. And she loves that little steamer thing. She uses it like everywhere, right? And she was using it to clean under the sink. How is pre-diabetic Drew going back door and use the steamer on the toilet? She just uses steamer by their plates and cups. And I already know we're gonna see Stephanie using the steamer on something else. But after Drew then use it on the toilet in the hotel, I'm not using that near my stuff. But honestly, I'm so glad he can move around and stuff. Like with him being pre-diabetic, like I know it's hard on him. He even had the energy to fix the soaps. And they use native? Wow. And even after buying all of that meat, they still decided to get pizza for dinner. And y'all put a lot of that meat in the mini fridge. Did y'all eat it all? Or, because I know for a fact it's probably bad by now. She just did that big grocery haul just to get pizza. Okay.
And let's not forget, they're staying in a hotel long term, not a weekend, not a temporary emergency, long term. That racks up quickly. We're talking hundreds per, that's thousands a month. That's more than enough to afford rent in many areas. They clearly have funds to manage all of that, just not for stable house. They're also paying for streaming services, monthly subscriptions, gadgets, takeout, snacks, convenience food, and the kinds of extras most families struggling with housing can only dream of. Their new devices, toys, electronics, all things that are luxurious, not necessities. And yet, when it comes to putting money down to a rental or a small apartment, suddenly there is nothing left. Zero. None. People have every right to question what they're doing with their money because they put it out there. This isn't private family business anymore. This is a public monetized life. They post videos every single day telling their followers how hard life is, how unfair everything is, pleading for donations, painting themselves as victims of a broken system, but then turn around and spend donations on things that make zero sense. Things that show this is not about survival, but control. Control over the narrative, control over perception, and control over money that keeps flowing in with every sympathy click. The Jenkins are not victims of poverty. They're beneficiaries of a carefully crafted narrative that centers around victimhood, and unfortunately, their children are at the center of it. Yes, the kids. The ones who are living through this nightmare every single day. They sleep on a kitchen floor. They've been evicted. They have gone from apartment to hotel to motel. And now they all share one single room. One room, no privacy, no personal space, just beds, bags, and a camera always. That's not just inconvenient. That's traumatic. That's how childhood trauma begins. In spaces where chaos is constant and comfort is absent, where social media presence takes priority over basic living conditions.
So it's been made clear to me and so many others that the resilient Jenkins do have Deshaun sleeping on the floor. If you look up in the right-hand corner next to the bed, that is a mattress pad that's covered by something, basically trying to hide the fact that it's a mattress pad. Here's another video from one of hers. Again, in that right-hand corner, you can see it's a mattress pad. It looks like maybe it's covered by a blanket or a towel. I even zoomed in on this, and I know this photo is really hard to see, but this just confirms that the girls have the bunk bed and Deshaun is sleeping on the floor. Now again,
and while we're talking about the children, let's talk about the manipulation. Remember the videos Stephanie posted of her two daughters defending their brother Deshaun? She captioned it something like, "They don't want trolls to separate them." It sounds sweet at first. It sounds like family unity, like siblings standing up for each other in the face of the internet hate. But if you look deeper, if you really take a second to analyze what's going on, it's something far more troubling. It's calculated, it's scripted, it's fear-based. What Stephanie is doing is feeding her children fear, not just worry, but actual deep-rooted fear. She's telling them, either directly or through repeated implication, that there are bad people out there who want to tear their family apart, that if they talk to teachers, to CPS, or to any adult authority figure, something terrible could happen, that they will be split up, taken away, left alone. That's not just manipulation, that's emotional blackmail.
So people are talking about the resilient Jenkins, so the video that she posted where the kids were lip syncing, and the caption was, "This is how my kids feel when I tell them that people are trying to split them up." And people are like, why the hell would she say that? That is a really common tactic used to get children to lie to CPS. If you tell them mommy and daddy this, if you tell them what we do, if you tell them our business, if you tell them blah, 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 if you tell the truth to anyone, especially CPS, teachers, whoever, they're going to split you up. That is why. And I'm sure many kids who have been through abusive relationships would tell you, or abusive parents, they would tell you that that's what happens. They scare the kids into lying so that they don't get taken away, and the parents don't get charges.
It's installing a belief in your children that being honest with the outside world is dangerous. And that kind of thinking, it doesn't go away easily. When kids grow up with a mindset, they don't just lie to protect their parents. They learn to lie to themselves, to minimize their pain, to suppress their questions, to accept dysfunction as normal. And when that happens, when a child internalizes that kind of fear, it becomes almost impossible to speak out, even when things are not okay, even when things are clearly wrong. And it works because now, even CPS has no case. The kids are too afraid to speak out, too rehearsed, too conditioned, and Stephanie knows this. She's not guessing. She's banking on it. That's why she posts just enough content showing herself feeding the kids, wiping counters, folding clothes, giving out hugs, just the bare minimum optics of motherhood. It's all strategic because she knows exactly how to create just enough illusion to stay out of trouble. She's not trying to be a good parent. She's trying to look like one. There's a big difference. But let's be very clear here. This is not okay. Stephanie is using her own children as props in her social media strategy. She's turned their suffering into a storyline, their pain into profit. And the more people talk about it, the more money she makes. So she keeps the chaos going. Because chaos equals clout. Every loud comment, every stage and reaction video, every call out, that's visibility. That's reach. That's income. She feeds on the criticism just as much as the sympathy. Let's go back to the motel, because it's not just a place to sleep, it's a stage. She brings in hot plates and deep fryers. She makes videos of the family stacked on beds, eating snacks, doing their best in impossible conditions, and people react. Some are angry, some are sympathetic, some are horrified, but all of them are watching. That's what Stephanie wants: attention, engagement, viral moments. And she knows exactly how to get them. The motel is her production set. The lighting is real. The mess is real. The discomfort is real. But the story behind it, it's calculated. Remember that time she posted a video complaining about how TikTok was pushing other moms but not her? She wasn't asking for help, she was asking for fame. And now that she's got it, she's not letting it go. So what happens next? The Jenkins stay in that motel. They keep making the same videos, they keep telling the same story, and the donations keep coming in. It's a cycle, a trap, and they are not just stuck in it. They have built their entire platform on it. It's become their brand, their business model. And here's the worst part, it's working. Stephanie doesn't want to move into a house because if she did, the story would end. People would stop talking, views would drop, donations would dry up. She would be just another mom with 5 kids and no viral gimmick. So she chooses this life, not out of desperation but strategy. And that's the part that makes your stomach turn, because the kids don't get a choice. They're just along for the ride. They didn't sign up to be characters in an online drama. But here they are. We're not saying she's evil. We're saying her priorities are dangerous. We're saying it's time to stop pretending this is about survival and start calling it what it is, exploitation. Stephanie Jenkins is not a struggling mom. She's a social media strategist with a disturbing business model. And until people stop buying into it, she has no reason to stop. The more people engage, the longer this continues, and the people who suffer most, her kids. So ask yourself, is this the kind of content we should be supporting, or is it time to say enough is enough? Let us know your thoughts, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more deep dives like this, because someone needs to say it, and here we are going to keep saying it.